She's cold, distant, hard to read, but just a few weeks ago, she was opening her heart. Her eyes lit up when you texted. She leaned in when you spoke. Now she's pulling away and you don't understand why. You didn't do anything wrong. In fact, you were there. You showed up, you stayed consistent, you gave her what most men don't, and still she retreats. Let me tell you something that most men never realize until it's too late. Sometimes a woman pushes you away when her feelings are growing the fastest, not because she doesn't want you, but because you scare her. Not in a toxic way, but in the most vulnerable way possible. You're the one man who's not pretending. You see her, you feel her, and that level of emotional nakedness, it terrifies her. If you've ever wondered why a woman suddenly creates distance right after you finally connect, this message is for you. Because it's not rejection, it's not manipulation, it's fear. And the way you handle that fear will determine whether she heals or hides. When a woman pulls away from you, the first thought in your mind is often, "What did I do wrong?" And I want you to pause right there, because that question, while honest, often comes from a place of fear, not clarity. You see, men are wired to fix things, to find the problem and solve it. So when a woman you care about begins to grow distant, you immediately start scanning your actions, trying to calculate where you slipped. But here's the truth most men never hear. Her distance is not always about something you did. More often, it's about what she's feeling inside. It's about what's moving in her emotionally that she doesn't yet know how to express or even understand. A woman's emotional retreat is rarely logical. It doesn't follow a neat timeline. One moment, she's laughing in your arms. The next, she's taking longer to reply. She seems colder. Her energy shifts, and your heart drops. But what you don't see is what's happening underneath. You might have triggered something buried deep inside her. Not a wound you created, but one that was already there, waiting. Maybe you made her feel safe, and that safety felt so foreign it scared her. Maybe the way you listened, the way you stayed calm, the way you stayed reminded her of how deeply she wants to trust someone again. But trust is dangerous when your history is full of betrayal, and many women, even the strong ones, are still bleeding inside from pain they never told anyone about. When a woman feels emotionally exposed, her instinct is often not to lean in, but to pull away. It's a form of self-protection. She tells herself, don't fall too fast, don't be too available, he'll change, they always do. So instead of surrendering, she retreats. Not because she doesn't want you, but because she's terrified of losing you after she lets you in. And that is a pain she refuses to relive. So distance becomes her shield, silence becomes her armor, and now you're left staring at your phone, overthinking every message, questioning every word. But what she needs in that moment is not your panic, not your pressure, not your emotional withdrawal in return. What she needs is presence, quiet strength, the kind of masculine energy that says, I see you pulling away. I'm not going to force you to open up, but I'm not running either. This doesn't mean tolerate disrespect. It means understanding her rhythm, see the fear beneath the silence, and hold your ground without needing to control her reaction. That, my friend, is power. So stop thinking her distance means you're not enough. In fact, sometimes it's because you were the first man to finally feel like enough that she panicked. Because maybe, just maybe, you were the first man who didn't make her question her worth. And that's the scariest feeling of all, when she's never known how to receive real love without bracing pain. Every man dreams of being the one a woman opens up to, the one she leans on when the world feels too loud. But what most men don't realize is that even when a woman wants that kind of connection deeply, desperately, she can still run from it. And here's why. Emotional dependency scares her more than loneliness ever did. She's been taught to be strong, independent, and in control. She's been told that needing someone is weakness, and worse, she's experienced what happens when she lets her guard down. When she depended on someone emotionally before they left, or they changed, or they used her softness against her. So now, even when she finally meets a man who makes her feel something real, her instinct says, "Don't fall. You'll lose yourself again." So don't get it twisted. Just because she craves love doesn't mean she feels safe in it. There's a war happening inside her. Her heart wants to trust you, but her mind is whispering warnings. Don't rely on him. Don't lose your power. Don't forget who you were before him. She's afraid of becoming too emotionally involved because she knows what it cost her the last time. Not just her peace, but her identity. She became someone else just to keep a connection alive, and she swore she would never do that again. So now, she stays guarded, she pushes, she distances herself, not because she's playing games, but because she's protecting herself from disappearing inside another man's world. And here's where many men go wrong. You start to take it personally. You think her withdrawal means you're not man enough. You start chasing harder, proving more, giving more, hoping it'll convince her to come back. But the more you chase, the more she retreats. Because now, it's not just her fear speaking, it's your insecurity too, and that confirms her deepest worry, that maybe she really can't trust a man to stay centered when she pulls away. That maybe this will turn into the same emotional roller coaster she swore she'd never ride again. So what should you do? You hold your ground, you stop trying to prove something, you stop chasing, and instead you be the man who doesn't need to cling to be present. Be the man who doesn't demand connection, but invites it. Show her that your presence doesn't come with a price tag. Show her that she doesn't have to lose herself to love you. And most importantly, show her that you are whole with or without her. Because when a woman sees that you're not trying to own her, fix her, or control her, but instead you're offering a space where she can exist without fear, something powerful happens. She softens, not immediately and not always perfectly, but eventually she feels it. Your strength, your calm, your lack of neediness. And that, more than anything else, is what makes her consider maybe it's finally safe to stop running. There's something most men don't realize when they meet a woman who suddenly shuts down. It's not her logic doing the talking. It's her trauma. Her nervous system is reacting to something she may not even fully understand. And that's the part that hurts the most because you weren't the one who caused the wound. But you might be the one who triggered it. See, women don't walk around with signs on their foreheads saying damaged or guarded. No. They smile, they flirt, they love deeply, but the moment something feels too real, the trauma speaks louder than the heart. For many women, emotional closeness doesn't feel like comfort. It feels like danger because it reminds them of the last time they trusted someone and got burned. Maybe it was a father who abandoned her. Maybe it was a man who promised forever and left when she needed him most. Or maybe it was years of being the strong one, the one everyone leaned on, and no one ever came back to check how she was doing. So now, when you show up with peace and presence, her body remembers the pain before the peace, and this is the trap most good men fall into. You start wondering why she's acting crazy, why she's suddenly distant when all you did was offer kindness. But she's not being crazy, she's being triggered. You knocked on a door inside her heart that's been locked for years. And opening it, that's terrifying, not because you're unsafe, but because safety itself is unfamiliar. Let that sink in. Some women have been in chaos for so long that when peace shows up, they mistake it for a lie. So, what do? You don't force the door open. You don't get frustrated and start pulling away just because she's not meeting your emotional timing. What she needs most isn't pressure, it's patience. She needs to feel that you're not going to punish her for flinching. That your love doesn't expire just because she froze up. She's not asking you to save her. She's asking you to not run when she reveals the parts of her that even she doesn't like. But that also doesn't mean you become her therapist. It doesn't mean you lose your balance trying to carry her. It means you lead calmly, emotionally, with grounded strength. You stay rooted in who you are, even when she isn't rooted in who she wants to be. That's the kind of presence that helps heal trauma, not by fixing it, but by showing it something different. A new emotional pattern, a safe masculine presence that says, I won't abandon you, but I also won't betray myself to keep you. And when you do that, when you become the man who doesn't flinch in the face of her fear, you give her the one thing she's always wanted, a permission to come home to herself in your presence. And that is when real love begins. There's something most men don't understand about women, especially Hive, you women. She will test you not because she's playing games or trying to manipulate you. No, it's deeper than that. She's testing the emotional structure of the man standing in front of her. She needs to know, can you handle the real her? Not just the soft, fun, sexy parts, but the parts that are scared, messy, unsure. The parts that might push, pull, cry, and fall silent without notice. And here's the truth that hurts. A woman's pullback is often not an exit, it's a mirror. She's not trying to see if you'll win her back. She's watching to see if you lose yourself trying, because if you do, if you chase with desperation, if you spiral into confusion, if you start pleading or panicking, you've just shown her that your emotional center isn't stable, that you can be shaken, that your confidence is conditional on her approval, and no woman, no matter how much she feels for you, will trust a man who's emotionally fragile every time she retreats. Women want safety, not just physical, emotional safety, and emotional safety doesn't mean you never feel. It means when things get chaotic, you don't become chaos. She wants to feel that when she's falling apart, you're not. That when she pulls back, you don't become needy. That when she grows cold, you stay warm but not weak. That's the test, so when she withdraws and you text 5 times in a row fail, when you start asking, what did I do, is everything okay, every 5 minutes fail. When you send long emotional paragraphs trying to explain yourself, hoping she'll feel bad and respond fail. Because now, she's no longer feeling your presence, she's feeling your fear, and fear is not attractive. It's not grounding. It makes her feel like she has to be the strong one again, and that's not why she pulled away. But if you stand firm, if you give her space without giving up your warmth, if you keep your purpose, stay focused, and let her know you're still there, just not chasing, she notices that, she respects that, because now you're showing her something rare, a man who leads with peace, not panic. Let me be clear, this isn't about being emotionally unavailable or playing hard to get. It's about showing emotional backbone. It's about showing that your world doesn't collapse because hers got quiet. And ironically, it's when you don't chase that she starts to wonder where you are. That's when she feels the difference. The absence of your neediness makes her feel the presence of your strength. You want to be unforgettable to a woman. Be the man who doesn't beg for her attention, but stands tall in her silence. That's the man she remembers. That's the man she trusts. And trust, not neediness, is what makes a woman stay. Stillness. That's the word most men don't think about, but it's the very thing a woman feels when she's trying to decide if she can trust you. See, when a woman is spinning in her own emotional storm, unsure, anxious, confused, she's not just watching what you say. She's watching how you stand. She's watching your energy. She's watching your tone. And more than anything, she's watching your stillness. The kind that says, you can be a mess right now, and I won't become one with you. Most men don't know how powerful that is. Because they think action is strength. They think they need to chase, prove, explain, convince. But when a woman pulls away, what she's often craving isn't more words. It's a presence that doesn't shake when she does. Because that presence tells her, this man doesn't just want me, he can handle me, he can handle my silence, my fear, my overthinking, my layers. And that's where the shift happens. Now, don't confuse this with doing nothing. Stillness isn't passive, it's powerful. It means you're emotionally aware, but not emotionally hijacked. It means you care, but you're not desperate. It means you hold space for her to come closer without pressuring her to move on your timeline. And that's hard, especially when you like her, especially when she suddenly changes on you. You feel the need to fix it. You want to know what's wrong, but that urgency, that desperation, that's what makes you feel unsafe to her. Because now you've lost your ground, women pick up on that energy instantly. It's not always conscious, it's instinctive. When you lose your emotional footing, she feels like she has to be the stable one. And if she already has trauma or anxiety, that's the last role she wants. So instead of opening up, she shuts down further because she doesn't want to become your emotional caretaker. She wants to feel your masculine calm. That calm tells her, I'm not scared of your fear. I'm not running from your withdrawal. I'm here, whole, unshaken. Stillness also communicates something else, self-worth. It tells her, I care about you, but I don't need to lose myself to keep you. That's rare. And let me tell you, it's incredibly attractive. When you remain rooted while she's uncertain, you're doing something powerful. You're teaching her nervous system that not every man is dangerous, that not every man panics when she takes space, that some men stand still. So if she pulls away and you want to know what to do, breathe, stay kind, don't chase, don't punish, don't vanish, stay grounded in your values, keep your focus. Let your stillness speak, and trust that the woman who's meant for you will feel that and come closer, not because you pushed, but because your presence pulled her in without a single word. That's the kind of power no drama can match. Sometimes when a woman pushes you away, it's not because she wants you gone. It's because she wants to know if your love can survive her lowest moment. I know that sounds confusing. I know it feels unfair. But this is the reality many men never get taught. When a woman feels the deepest, scariest emotions rising inside her, she may test the waters by pulling back not to leave you, but to see if you'll still stand there when she disappears for a while. And this isn't about playing games. It's not about being manipulative. It's about fear, emotional fear, because love, when it's real, isn't always soft and light and easy. Real love exposes you. Real love says, let me see who you are when I'm not at my best. And most women, especially the ones who have been hurt before, are wondering deep down, can this man handle the ugliest parts of me? Can he love me when I'm not soft, not smiley, not sweet? So she creates a kind of distance. She may pull away, go silent, act cold, and you, as the man, feel this gut punch of confusion. 1 week ago, she was all in, texting you, calling you, laughing in your arms. And now, it's like she's gone emotionally, but the truth is, she's not trying to destroy the connection. She's trying to test the foundation of it. She's asking, is this connection strong enough to hold me when I can't hold myself? And here's what most men do in that moment. They panic. They react. They either chase, trying to win her back through constant messages and validation, or they retaliate, going cold in return, trying to protect their pride. But neither of those responses make her feel safe, because all she sees is a man who needs her to be emotionally perfect in order to stay close. But if you want to be the man who shifts everything, the man who becomes unforgettable, here's what you do. You stay still. You stay emotionally grounded. You don't beg. You don't blow up. You don't withdraw to punish her. You simply let her know, I'm here. I'm not forcing you to talk, but I'm not running away either. I'm not confused by your fear. I see it, and I'm still standing. That is the kind of love that heals trauma, not because it's loud, but because it's steady. It doesn't demand answers. It offers presence and that kind of emotional leadership, the kind where you don't chase, but you don't collapse either. That's what creates safety. That's what creates respect, and ultimately that's what makes her say, I can breathe here, I can be messy here, I can finally stop pretending here. So if she's pushing you away, pause. Don't take it as rejection. Hear it for what it truly is. A silent question. Can you still love me when I can't love myself? And your answer doesn't come in words. It comes in your stillness, in your strength, in your ability to stay without needing to control. So now you know. She didn't push you away because you were weak. She didn't go silent because she stopped caring. She pulled away because, for the first time in a long time, she felt something real, and that scared her more than being alone ever did. You were the moment her heart whispered, maybe this is safe, and then her fear screamed, don't you dare believe it. Men, if you walk away now without understanding what just happened, you won't just lose her. You'll lose the version of yourself that was being invited to rise. Because this was never about being charming, or saying the right things, or texting fast enough. This was about holding space. About being a man so rooted in his emotional presence that her storms don't shake you. That her distance doesn't define you, that her fear doesn't change who you are. So I challenge you now, be the man who doesn't flinch when love gets uncomfortable. Be the man who knows that stillness is louder than begging. Be the man who becomes safety, not strategy. Because when you become that man, she will feel it, even in her silence, even in her fear, even in her distance. And if she's meant to return, she will, not because you chased, but because you stood still and became unforgettable. If this message pierced something in you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a brother who's struggling. Drop a comment below and tell me what truth hit hardest. Like this video. Subscribe for more reality-based, emotionally raw guidance. And always remember, the right woman doesn't need you to be perfect. She just needs you to be present.